The world of woodworking technology is getting faster, easier, better. And I've got two exciting things to share with you today. Hello folks, I'm Chad Stanton, a professional woodworker of over 25 years, sharing my experiences with you. I haven't done a video in a while and I thought I would do something different, so I wanted to make a non-such chest. Google it. But when I explained the idea to my wife, she was like, no. I've got too many jobs going in the shop. I don't have time for a big project. I should do something easy and simple. Well, I wasn't sure what that was going to be, so I had to give it some thought. One evening, I was just doing some doodling and I sketched out a tree. And looking at it, I kind of realized, hey, there's something to this that I kind of like. I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to go, but I took a photo of it and I put it into my computer and opened up Inkscape. Now, Inkscape is an open source free software that you can download and it can do so many things. So by putting my sketch in there, I then could envision like the roots becoming part of the frame. And then I envisioned like a sun or a moon, something behind it. Then as I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this could be a really cool multi-layered like 3D wall art picture. I could see how the leaves could be one layer, the tree could be another layer. This was really giving me a cool idea. Realizing that this project is going to have all these layers and some of the parts are really small, like the leaves and the branches on the tree, I realized there's no way my bandsaw is going to do the job. And I might be able to do it on my scroll saw, but the hours in it would just be way too long. But this is where the new woodworking technology comes into play. I have here the Falcon 2 40-watt diode laser by Creality. Now, I had actually filmed footage of unboxing this, and I was going to give you a detailed step-by-step procedure of how to assemble the machine. I will show you some of the footage here so you get an idea what all comes in the box. This is it right out of the box. I have not done any assembly to this, and that's one of the first things I love about this. As you can see, the frame is all put together, the bridge or gantry is already on it, the belts, the pulleys, the wheels, they're all set up. There's hardly anything I have to do. I have the big giant 40-watt laser to put on it, and I just have the air pump basically to plug in. A couple other little plugs and accessories to put in, but seriously, this probably is not going to take me any more than 10 minutes tops. Now, typically, I hate doing this part because it never goes as smooth as it seems. There's always something that doesn't fit right. There's always something in the directions that don't exactly match up with the assembly. And I was going to point all that out so if you decided to buy one of these machines, you wouldn't run into those problems. However, this machine was so simple, it only took less than 3 minutes to put it together. All I had to do was screw on the legs, drop the laser in place, and plug in the air pump. Just like that, this machine is ready to go. It does have the directions on a thumb drive that show you a video of the assembly of this as well as the paper manual, but I'm telling you, this was by far the fastest, easiest machine to get it working right out of the box. And on the program of the thumb drive, well, it has a basic practice program that you can do where it does a little bit of engraving and shows you its cutting abilities. It's super fast, easy, and clean. So the first thing I did after I got it all assembled was I plugged it into my laptop, opened up Lightburn, and I put my program of that tree into it and got to work. I'm starting with the background piece, and the Falcon 2 makes easy, fast work at cutting out of the shape, even though this is some 1/2-inch plywood. I've changed to some 1/4-inch plywood. This is going to make the tree and the frame, and will be the first of 5 layers on this wall art. I'm trying to maximize my material, and I'm going to cut out a layer of these leaves from some of the other scrap from the tree and the frame. Once all the parts and layers are cut out, I can now move on to doing the assembly. I'm going to begin by taking that 1/2-inch plywood that made up the background, and I'm just going to paint it all black. I also used some of that 1/2-inch plywood, and I made the side pieces that will frame out this background piece. The moon is just some rice paper, and it gets glued directly to the background. This part of the tree is actually going to be the first layer, but I want it to stand out a little bit from the moon, so I added some spacer blocks to the back of it. The second layer is actually the roots that form the frame going around the picture. And layer 3 is just some leaves. Layer 4 is some more leaves, but first a spacer block needs to be added onto the frame. So apparently I forgot to film the placing of layer 4 of the leaves onto it, but you can clearly see it here in place. Now before the last layer of leaves go on, I actually need to glue 2 spacer blocks onto the frame. And the 5th layer of leaves, well, this completes the wall art. I would like to say at this time that there are some safety concerns that you need to be aware about and some things you need to set up in your shop before using a laser engraver. For example, in my shop, you can see behind me is a window, and I make sure I put an exhaust fan in there to get the smoke and the fumes from the laser engraving out of the shop. I also have at this time some drop cloths that you can't see that hang from the ceiling. This allows me to close off this area where the machine is at to make sure that the smoke and the fumes don't get into my working half of the shop. And also too, I don't want to be walking by and get some flash burn coming off of that laser out of the corner of my eye. Now, if getting one of these machines is something you think you're interested in, I highly encourage you to check out my friend Curtis and his course on using and setting up with a laser diode machine. If you're interested in that, I'll have a link below in the description box. In his course, he teaches everything you need to know about buying, using, having, and setting up your shop for a laser diode machine. At this point in time, I'd like to talk about the likes and dislikes of this machine for me. Obviously, the first thing that I was super thrilled about was how fast the machine went together. The other thing that's very impressive is that 40-watt laser. Well, most people think of, because it's a stronger watt laser, that it can burn through things thicker, which that's true, it can. But it also makes things much faster. I cannot get over how quick it was able to engrave and cut out those parts for that tree. Altogether, all those parts that make up that tree artwork took less than 15 minutes. Another feature that's really nice about this is because I can't actually see the machine while it's working with my drop cloths closed, when it's done running the program, it goes to home and it turns off. So the minute I hear that cooling fan stop, I know my piece is ready to come out. Other machines I've used in the past don't all have that feature, and for me, doing other work in my shop, that's an absolute must-have. It also comes with the little thumb drive that I mentioned before that has the manual, the video for the assembly for it, and you can actually put your projects on this. Okay, now let's talk about some of the dislikes for this machine. I mentioned that you can screw the feet on it. That was one of the 3 things you had to do to put it together. It also came with different sized feet legs, so if you had a taller project, you could put the taller legs on it to accommodate the work. Which, when I first saw that, I thought, wow, that's great, that's easy. It's a pain in the butt for 2 reasons. One, once I get all this set up, lifting each corner or turning the whole thing over to unscrew the legs, it's just not very convenient. And second of all, on the legs itself, well, this threaded rod that goes in there, it's not glued in place, so it's hard to screw it into the machine, and it also wants to screw out of the leg at the same time. It's an easy fix. All I'd have to do is put a drop of glue on it. But nonetheless, I found I don't like using the legs that came with it. What I wound up doing was I just cut a couple of little blocks so I have 3 different dimensions. I can use the block this way, I can use it, turn it this way so it's a little bit taller, or turn it again for the maximum height on it. Altogether, this was a whole lot quicker to put underneath the feet than to try and screw in more legs. Another issue that I had was the machine, as I said, comes with the little thumb drive, and supposedly I can put my projects on here, plug it in the machine, and it will run it. But I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm not saying it doesn't work, I'm just saying I haven't figured it out, and so thereby I have to do a little bit more homework and research to figure out what I'm doing wrong, and all that just takes time. So for the most part, I just keep it plugged into my laptop and I run all my programs right through Lightburn right onto it. Now the last thing about it I didn't like was I can't really blame the machine at all. And you can't engrave on plexiglass. It has nothing to do with the machine or the manufacturer. It has to do with the actual type. In other words, a diode laser. If I had a CO2 laser, that would work on plexiglass. But for whatever reason, the diode laser emits a different type of laser wave, and it just doesn't work on plexiglass. All in all, I gotta say that the Falcon 2 by far is my favorite laser engraver so far. It's fast, it's quiet, it's really efficient. I'm telling you, I'm just absolutely loving it. Well, that's it. See you next time.